Former President Trump says his lead is so big he won't participate in Wednesday's Republican primary debate or any debate in the coming months. Joining us now to discuss this is former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan. He's also the honorary chairman of No Labels Governor. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be with you.
So, Governor, let's begin with the debate. Former President Trump not showing up. You thought about running for president. You spoke with CBS News months ago about your decision not to seek the Republican nomination. For those who have decided to seek it, what are they facing now on that debate stage without Trump there?
Well, it's what I was afraid of, and you and I talked about this in the spring when I decided not to run. I was concerned that Donald Trump was going to suck all of the oxygen out of the room, that all of the attention was going to be on him, and that it was going to be hard for all of the other potential candidates to get any attention or to get any traction. And unfortunately, that's what it appears as if, that's exactly the situation we're in right now with 11 candidates, and he's, far and away ahead of everybody in the pack. But this debate, even though he's not going to show up, which is, it's not surprising to me that he's going to continue to try to make it all about him. But for the candidates, and there are a number of good candidates running, this gives them an opportunity. There will be eyeballs. There will be people watching this debate. And I'm hoping that they'll get a chance to talk about some important issues and not just spend the whole time talking about Donald Trump. And they can let people know what they're all about and why they're running for president, and let the voters of America, hear that they actually care about the problems that everybody else cares about.
So beyond Trump, put him to the side. What's the biggest debate in the Republican Party right now? Is it on foreign policy and support for Ukraine? Is it on the culture war? Where do you see the fissure inside the GOP?
Well, it's a great question. Look, I think that unfortunately, the battle has been about how do we win over Trump voters and base Republican primary voters, because that's the battle that they're in right now. It's not necessarily the same thing that the average American is concerned about. So I think most people in the country want to hear about the economy. They want to hear about crime in our cities. They want to hear about improving education. They're concerned about the war in Ukraine and how we're going to, what our participation is going to be. There are a lot of important issues out there, but what we're talking about are other things that seem to be, where the focus is with the, culture warrior stuff and actually talking about Trump indictments over and over again. I think it's an opportunity for some of them to talk about the things they care about and why they're running. Like, for example, I think Mike Pence probably has an opportunity to put to rest where he is and what he did on January 6th. If I were Mike Pence, I would put it to the rest of the candidates. What would you have done on January 6th? Would you have abandoned the Constitution? I think Chris Christie's going to prosecute the case against Donald Trump. I think so will Asa Hutchinson, both former U.S. attorneys, both of whom are actually calling Trump out. But the rest of the candidates, I think, have to say, if they're going to challenge Donald Trump, they're going to have to challenge Donald Trump. And they're going to have to say, we talk about a positive, hopeful vision for America and where they would lead the country if they were president. I think Tim Scott has a positive, hopeful message. I think it could be an opportunity for him. I was glad to see my friend Asa make the stage. Doug Burgum. There are 6 of my former gubernatorial colleagues that are on the stage. They're all great governors, but a lot of people don't know who they are. And so I'm hoping they'll get a chance to tell America who they are.
Speaking of governors, there has been a lot of chatter behind the scenes among my sources about whether 2 governors should consider late entries, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin. You know both of these men. What is the reality of a late entry should one of them decide to seriously consider it in the coming months?
Well, they're both great governors, and I had the honor of serving with both of them and supporting both of them in their election campaigns. There certainly would be good candidates for whatever office they chose to run in. But as I mentioned, we're not lacking candidates. We have 11 other candidates other than Trump. We have 6 of my former gubernatorial colleagues. I'm not sure why we would need 1 or 2 more, or what a difference they would make. But I just don't believe either one of them is going to get in the race. I know there was talk about, well, Youngkin said not this year, but maybe next year, or after he finishes the election in November, he'll see and think about it. The filing deadline for the first states is October 15th. So, we're really running out of time. I think this is a lot of speculation about, things that might happen. What we ought to really focus on is how we're going to actually pick one of the folks that's out there now and lead the Republican Party in a different direction, because I want to get back to winning again. We've lost 3 elections in a row because of Donald Trump. And he's our weakest possible candidate in the general election, even though he's blowing everybody away in the primary.
Let's say Trump is the nominee. Let's close here with a little discussion on No Labels, the group you serve as honorary co-chairman of, national chair. What's the percentage in your mind of a Larry Hogan appearance on a No Labels ticket sometime next year, whether it's in the summer, the spring, or the fall, whether you're the presidential candidate or the vice presidential candidate? How do you see it? I mean, just let's be candid here. What's the percentage chance you could end up on a No Labels ticket in some capacity?
Well, I'm not a pundit, and I hate to speculate. I'm a pretty direct guy. I've been involved in this group for about 3 years. It's been around for 13 years. I believe in the basic principles of this organization, which is about putting the country first, about trying to bring people together, about reaching across the aisle and coming up with common sense bipartisan solutions. So I believe that's the organization does a good job of that. I don't know that they're going to run anybody. They're only willing to consider this if the nominees are Biden and Trump, and 70% of the people in America do not want those choices. And that's just a long way off. I mean, my hope, I'm still focused on, I'm not considering, I'm not thinking about, I'm not focused on any kind of an independent run. I'm focused on trying to get a Republican, starting with this Wednesday in the debate, that can win that nomination, so we don't have to talk about that.
But just to put a pin in this, have there been even informal discussions between you and Senator Manchin about who would be on a ticket as president and vice president, should it ever get to that?
No, Joe Manchin, Joe's a good friend. I have a lot of respect for him. And I know there's been a lot of speculation about, is this going to happen? Are they going to get access to the ballot? And should they consider a Democrat at the top of the ticket or a Republican at the top of the ticket, depending on, look, I think that's all speculation. What we have to focus on is Joe Biden going to be the nominee of the Democratic Party, and is Donald Trump going to be the nominee of the Republican Party? If they are, then there is a good chance that No Labels will try to put a ticket together. I think 2/3 of the people in America have said they would consider an independent ticket. I think the idea of a unity ticket with a Republican and Democrat running together is not a bad idea. I think it appeals to a lot of people in America who are completely frustrated and fed up with politics as usual. They're disgusted with Washington. And, they really want somebody that's going to take the country in a different direction. We've never been at a point in time like we are right now. So I can't speculate. I know it sounds a little crazy, but you just never know what's going to happen next spring. And we all just keep the door options open and keep taking a look and see where we are. Like, you never know what's going to happen until it happens.
That's so true. I remember sitting down with you just a few months ago. Thought maybe Governor Hogan entering political winter, enjoys some crab cakes in Annapolis, but you're still in the arena. Former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, thank you for joining us.